The San Francisco 49ers season has come to an end, which means records have fallen. Guys have been able to do things that other people haven't done before in a regular season. Obviously, we've heard about Brock Purdy and everything that he's done, tearing down some 49ers records. But we also have Deebo Samuel in a very rare category, and you can't get there without the help of Kyle Shanahan. So I thought this was cool. I thought this was a cool insight into how Kyle helped Deebo get this record. And so I'm going to let you listen as Deebo Samuel went on the Up and Adams show with Kay Adams to talk about this, and then we'll react to it on the other side. So take a listen to kind of Deebo's thoughts on breaking this record in the final game of the season right here.
Deebo, you can't stop breaking records. Are you trying to do this every week?
Hey, this was I had told Kyle earlier in the week that I needed like 6 yards to kind of break a record and be the second player in NFL history to do it. And he was like, "Yeah, man, I'll be sure that we get that done." And so kind of nice of him for him to call a play for me to get it done.
It's very nice. I'm loving the Kyle and Deebo friendship here. 3 scrimmage touches in last week's game. You break, this is the record, by the way. You passed the 1,000 rush yard mark in your NFL career. You joined Hall of Famer Charlie Taylor as the only 2 players in NFL history to reach that many rushing yards and 4,000 plus receiving yards in just 5 seasons. I'm sure it feels amazing. And now, how amazing is it that you get to rest up a little bit?
Oh, it's amazing. We get to kick your feet up and get to watch all the other teams play this week and see who we end up playing and kind of get a head start of everybody. We off today and tomorrow and hit the ground running on Thursday and Friday.
This record is kind of crazy. Like, only one other player has done this in NFL history, and it was Charlie Taylor, who's a Hall of Famer. And it's basically in the first 5 seasons, they are players that have over 4,000 reception yards, over 1,000 rush yards, total of over 5,000 yards. It's pretty crazy, right? Like, it's definitely a bit of an obscure kind of record. Like, you'd have to kind of, I don't know how you find that, but it's still cool nonetheless, because again, if only one other player has done this in NFL history, and Deebo Samuel is the second, it just continues to speak to his versatility, his ability to do insane things. And again, like, we call him the offensive weapon because he can be used behind the line of scrimmage as a running back, as a wide receiver, as a returner. He is a weapon, and Kyle Shanahan knows how to use him. I thought it was also a cool element about how Kyle Shanahan made sure he got it. I would say this has been an evolution of Kyle Shanahan, because I think back to that one game where George Kittle, I believe, had over 200 receiving yards in the half. I think it was against the Denver Broncos. I can't recall the exact year. Might have been 2017, 2018, those early years in the Kyle Shanahan era. And I don't think George really had more than a catch in the second half. And he was like a handful of yards away from breaking the single game record for yards in a game by a tight end. And Kyle just completely went away from him in the second half. I wonder if things like that have like Kyle's evolved, because I think prior Kyle didn't care about personal records. I think at the end of the day, he cares about winning. He cares about those types of things, staying healthy. But I think what Kyle has learned is that means a lot to these guys. That helps build their legacy, all these different types of things. And I think the biggest way that he's shown this evolution was in that game against the Jags, where the 49ers had blown out the Jags and the game was well in hand, but they were down in the red zone trying to get Christian McCaffrey a touchdown so he could break the record for most consecutive games with a touchdown in NFL history. He tied the record, but it was really cool to see them sell out to try to get Christian that record. That isn't something that we would have seen from Kyle Shanahan early on in Kyle's kind of tenure with the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm wondering if he's kind of learned from those situations with Kittle and things like that, because he would never kind of go after that. And he would talk about it. He would say that, that's not our focus. We're not here for personal accolades. It's a team game. We're trying to win, of course, right? But I think as we've seen, it means a lot to these players, which again can boost morale and boost productivity. And at the end of the day, that's what Kyle Shanahan is looking for, to get the most production out of his guys. So I think it's cool that he went out of his way to make sure that Deebo Samuel got this record. I think it meant a lot to Deebo Samuel to get it. And so Kyle, him talked about it. I think it was, he needed a couple more carries to be able to get over this 1,000-yard mark. And he got it as a rusher, and he did it within 5 seasons. And there's only been one other player to do that in NFL history. And he just so happens to be a Hall of Famer. So I think this is cool for both parties. I think it's cool for Deebo Samuel, shows again how versatile he is, but it's also, to me, an evolution of Kyle Shanahan in ensuring that his guys can cement their legacy and do those things that mean a lot to them. And I think that that shows signs of growth for Kyle. And again, Kyle's a phenomenal play caller. He's a phenomenal coach. He's a player's coach. These guys love him. And I think that is just another kind of showing of that process continuing to build for him, and why these guys will run through a brick wall for Kyle Shanahan. So I think this is great. I love this. I love Kyle Shanahan as a head coach. I always have. Those things with like George Kittle stick out to me, because I'm like, man, typically catch here or there, you're breaking the record, and he just completely goes away from him. I think this shows the evolution. I think this shows how Kyle understands that, man, these guys work their tails off. If they can obtain and put their name in the record books, I'm going to do whatever I can to help them. And I think that is fantastic when your head coach is doing things like that. Let me know what you guys think about Deebo Samuel's record. Funny story, by the way. I posted this to Instagram. This is the main photo. It's a carousel. You swipe. It's the video that we showed earlier of Kay Adams, and then you swipe again, and it's another picture of Deebo Samuel. I had probably 10 comments right off the rip say, "What's the record?" Watch the video. The video's right here. It's right here. Just watch it. Just watch it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.